From the high desert southwest and an indiscreet shave den located in the deep recesses of Ouch's basement, broadcasting north from McMurdo Sound to Ice Station Zebra and east and west across all time zones to our members throughout the world, this is Badger and Blade Radio. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be on this big blue planet we call home, and welcome to Badger and Blade Radio. What's on deck this week? Well, we took some suggestions from some of our members on some of the topics that we'll be discussing, and those will include how the shaving market has changed, the 3017, what that means versus variety, an update on Biko. Who is Biko, you ask? We'll let you know about that, and restraint versus hoarding or buying. And then we'll talk a little bit about some fragrances and then menthol with the summer season certainly being here. No guest tonight, just a little bit of a topic on suggestions from members like you. So we'll be right back after the break with some news and events around BadgerandBlade.com. Stick with us.
Aye, mateys, ha ha ha, Captain No-Beard here. You know, managing a pirate ship can be stressful and it can be hard to find time for myself, except for my daily morning shave. To give myself that wonderful shave experience, I use Captain's Choice products. The quality of the soaps, creams, and aftershaves and balms are top-notch for my daily parlay with my face. Plus, they have wonderful accessories including lather bowls, one-of-a-kind soap lockers, and brushes. My favorite is the cat o' nine tails. Oh, what a burn. But all the products are treasures. So nice are my morning shaves that it transforms me into a true gentleman for a time before having to become a pirate again. So, if you are looking for the best in shave products, look no further. Anchor up and get your treasure at CaptainsChoiceStore.com. Yo ho, it's Captain's Choice for me.
Captain's Choice products, www.CaptainsChoiceStore.com. Welcome back to B&B Radio, broadcasting every 2 weeks here on www.badgerandblade.com. And please don't forget to sign up for our podcast feed if you like to listen to our radio show on the go. And also check out our YouTube page. Please like and subscribe. We'd certainly appreciate that. Plus, it gives you a chance to get notified of all new content on B&B Radio. Did you also know that Badger and Blade has a Facebook page? Yes, we do. So please check out our Facebook page. Just look for Badger and Blade. A couple of items going on Badger and Blade this week. Probably the biggest one, as we all know, Toothpick, Jason, has been growing a beard for some 19 plus months as he was challenged to do so for his best friend's wedding. Well, the time has come. He has decided to shave that off, and as of this recording and as of this broadcast, it's probably going on. We will have a complete recap, including a world premiere video of this shave in probably the next week or so. So we will break in and have a special show just for that. So we wish Jason well. If it's already happened, we hope he's still alive, as the razor he was shaving with was quite the chopper. And remember, all of this goes for charity for the Mesothelioma Association, so please donate to that as well. A couple other things. The Gold Dollar Modification Contest is in full swing. It will go through July 1st, so please check that out. And if you remember a few weeks back, or actually a month or so ago, we had a piff, and we called it the Monster Piff. It was everything. Well, Taz, our winner, has started to show some of those pictures of all the things he did win. So please check that out as well. When we get back, we'll go ahead and start discussing some of the topics that you, the members, have suggested that we discuss on this episode of Badger and Blade Radio. We'll be right back. Welcome back to this broadcast of B&B Radio for June 12th, 2017. And we thought we'd do something a little bit different, take a break from the interviews from our vendors, moderators, and stewards, and let you pick the topics that we discuss. So we'll go right down the list for this segment. How has the shaving market changed? Well, if you've been listening to B&B Radio, you know that the vendors have seen a huge uptick in various product purchases over the last few years. But believe it or not, the traditional shaving, although it's called traditional wet shaving, but we all wet shave, so it's traditional shaving. The traditional part of it, meaning the DESE single edge razors, straight razors, soaps, creams, and brushes, represent actually only about 1 to 3% through the research that we did of the total shaving market. Hence the reason why you probably haven't seen some of the big companies like Gillette jump back on board with the DE type razors. Plus, with today's manufacturing, you'd probably be spending $500 on a Gillette razor. And there are so many more out there right now, and the sky's the limit. But what you're seeing is the younger and younger crowd. If we do demographics here on B&B Radio, or at least I do, and what I'm seeing is a lot of younger, 20-somethings are really starting to embrace the traditional wet shaving hobby, for lack of a better term, which is excitement, because that means that there is a sustainable market. I know there's been a lot of talk back and forth on, whether artisans will stay, whether they'll go, and that's all not necessarily the market, but that's the business model that these artisans are using. So we'd like your opinions on that. We'll leave some open spots here on the video library to give us your thoughts, and we'll follow up with that show. But the shaving market is changing. I think it's growing. It may be not growing at a huge rate, but it is growing because you're seeing more and more product come out, which is fantastic for everybody. And believe it or not, we as men deserve to have good care of our skins, our hair, and our bodies. Our fairer lovely wives and spouses have had it for years. So we appreciate, having this subject come up. But the market is changing, and that's a good thing. Now, 3017 versus variety. Well, for those of you that do not know or that may be new, 3017ing, meaning that you would have enough soap, enough aftershave, or enough product to last until the year 3017. So B&B has adopted that term as any time someone takes that product and uses it till it's dust or until its completion. Now, there are two trains of thought. Some people are very what they call minimalistic, and then there are the other people that like to enable everybody and have as much as possible. Is any one of these things right or wrong? Absolutely not. It's your choice. So for those people that 3017, they may take one brush, one soap, one razor, and use it till the very end. Whether there's folks like those of us in the Central Enablement Society that have literally hundreds of soaps, tons and tons of brushes, because we do like the variety of waking up and having something new each and every day. Some people get as anal, for the lack of a better term, to plan their shaves a week in advance. They have spreadsheets that show what they're going to be using and what rotation. And you know what? Here's the thing. Whether you 3017 something till it's completed, and the king of our 3017ing would be Sam, Rock Viper, one of our moderators here, or whether you use a different soap every day of the year all the time, it's your shave. Enjoy the shave, have fun with it, and if you walk out your door feeling great, then that's all that matters. What everybody else thinks doesn't really matter. So 3017, variety, hey, whatever's good for you. Now, moving on to Biko. Who is Biko, you ask? Well, a few years back, Dane, one of our moderators who was a steward at the time, came up with the idea of the official Badger and Blade Bingo. Bingo, shaving, yeah, sure, that fits. Well, believe it or not, it was a big hit. So usually once a month, we have a steward that will take on the roles of caller and will play bingo in one of our forums where you will have to search for different words. Well, in coordinating that, it took some time to do that between official games. So we came up with the idea of the 3BSC. And the 3BSC is basically a club in the clubs and journal section of the Shave of the Day forum. And basically, this is a very easy, just a traditional bingo where you call the numbers, and as long as it lasts, and as soon as somebody gets bingo, they get bingo. Well, we wanted to step it up a bit. So a few years ago, I decided to buy a mascot. Now, it did start out with Bocephus. Bocephus was a stuffed Eskimo dog, and it went over like gangbusters. And each person would actually take that and send it to the next person who was going to be calling the game, and then leave a little trinket on his collar, which we had made with a name tag and everything else, and it would travel the United States. And then towards the end, it would come back, we'd get him ready, and we'd put him in the Mohr Memorial Auction. Now, right now, Bocephus lives with KJ, and I'm sure that his new cohort in crime, Biko the Bingo Bear, will be also trying to spend some time with Bocephus, and we'll see if KJ will bid on that as well. But currently, Biko is in Kansas City, Missouri, with Rebecca, Badger Babe, who's going to be calling our next game. So if you're interested and you have played an official B&B Bingo game, you can certainly join the 3BSC Bingo game, which will be starting up shortly. The next official B&B Bingo game will be in the Shave Cream section, and Eric Smadayu will be doing the calling, and we'll have complete announcements for that when it gets started. And another topic tonight was restraint versus hoarding. Well, this goes along with the 3017 versus variety. We have a number of restraint threads here on badgerandblade.com, usually in the clubs and journals section. And we also have the hoarding or the enabling side. And it's kind of funny to watch. If you head over to the clubs and journals, you can see how many people have signed up for the 2017 restraint and how many people have bowed out because they either bought something or they just said, I can't handle it, I have to have some variety. Now, as far as hoarding is concerned, that's a subjective. You know, if somebody's got 67 brushes, I guess that could be considered hoarding. Or somebody likes to shave with 67 brushes 67 days out of the year. Same with razors. I know that there's folks here on B&B that have literally hundreds of straight razors, and there's people that have 2. So restraint versus hoarding, you know, that's an opinionation. Whatever you think is right. Some people think it's crazy to have 100 soaps or 200 soaps, 50 brushes, 18 razors, 45 SR razors. Unfortunately, I'm of the camp that says, hey, the more the merrier. The more variety, the more fun. So I'll let you decide what you consider restraint is versus hoarding. Finally, tonight, we're going to go ahead and talk about some fragrances and menthol. Fragrances, I think what happens is most folks, when they first get into traditional shaving, they think of aftershave, and sometimes they don't even use that. But fragrances are a wonderful, wonderful way to increase your nasal palate, for lack of a better term. And what's fantastic now is many of the soap makers and artisans are partnering up with fragrance makers and creating a signature scent. Now, whether you need a signature scent or not, that's entirely up to you, but the sky's the limit on both sides. You can spend $5 on a fragrance and be totally happy with the dollar store knockoffs and everything else, and if that's what turns you on, great, do it. Or you can spend literally thousands and thousands of dollars in unobtainium type of fragrances. But the general rule of thumb, and this is once again very subjective, the general rule of thumb is that summer fragrances will have certain top notes. Citrus. Those are your big notes, you know, because citrus is light, it's freshening. And for those people that don't know what the fragrance pyramid is, you've got a top, a middle, and a base note section. Now, the base notes are the notes that will be with the perfume or parfum or EDT for a long period of time. Now, when you're talking about the scent pyramid, first off, you have to talk about what percentages go into each one of these pyramids. Well, you have aftershave, cologne, eau de toilette, eau de parfum, and absolute. Those 5 things go into most fragrances. Now, it all depends on the amount of alcohol that is in each one. Now, there are percentages, and some of those percentages go off, but when you get into the absolute, it's almost pure fragrance, not a lot of alcohol. Parfums, a little bit less fragrance. Now, those are your strongest and most expensive because they contain the fragrance and essential oils that are almost pure. And then as you back down to eau de toilette and cologne, and then finally down to the aftershave. All of that goes into longevity on how long the scent will stay on your skin and how long the scent will project. We'll go into more detail in that on a later show when we do have one of the fragrance stewards with us. But also the scent pyramid or the fragrance pyramid or the notes pyramid is basically how it blends together. You will have your top notes. Your top notes will be lime, orange, bergamot, tonka bean, Those are notes that usually last for a little while, but then they fade away. However, if you want a consistency throughout the entire fragrance, then you would put them in all three areas. The middle notes kind of blend from the citrus into a more of a deeper note. Sometimes you may have sandalwood, you may have geranium, you may have lavender, you may have some other labadanium, you may have other fragrances in there that kind of take the top notes and blend them in. And then your bottom or your base notes are traditionally your patchoulis, your sandalwoods, your tonka beans, your guaiac root, your woods, and those are the ones that are the base notes. Now, what to choose? One of the best things you can do is go to your department stores and do the sniff test. Now, do not, if you get something on a card, remember, paper is not your skin. So what one fragrance will smell like on one person may not. Now, a good way to look at that is go into our fragrance section. There are a plethora of very, very experienced guys in the fragrance forum that talk about these fragrances, or even in the journals, you can find out what people are liking. There are some fragrances that people absolutely hate. We all know what we're talking about, the veg. But other people will think it's the best thing since in the world. I'm one of the ones that loves the veg. Same with tobacco, same with eucharis, and same with ouds. Ouds can be very barnyardy and fecal almost, but on some people they smell wonderful. So once again, just like traditional shaving, it is a huge bucket of things that you can do. But check out the Perfumer's Apprentice is a very nice place to take a look at if you plan on making your own fragrances, which can be done just like our soap artisans and everything else. So we're going to have our fragrance steward on later on in the year, and we'll go into much more detail. Now, finally, summer is here, and for those of us that are in the Southwest, we'll be approaching 110 to 115 degrees next week. Now, all over the United States and in other countries, summer can be crazy. It can be humid. It can be hot. Just a quick recommendation, even though we don't want you to stop purchasing your soaps and your creams and everything else, the summer months can take a hit as far as the fragrances and how long they're taking to be mailed. There's many of us, especially out here in the Southwest, that won't buy soaps during the summer months that much unless it's close, because they come in a soupy mess, and heat does destroy fragrances. So that's something to think about as well. But the next thing is, what do you do to cool off? What do you do? There are many of us that cold water shave, although that's blasphemous to some people, but that's a good way to do it. Many do a cold water rinse, obviously. Many even use ice cubes towards the end of their shave just to get that cool feeling. But one of the quickest and biggest ways to feel that cooling is menthol. Now, you can ramp up any fragrance, any soap that you want by buying menthol crystals. You can do that at any health food store. However, we caution people on that because menthol, the line between burning and coolness is very, very thin. There are a few soaps and fragrances out there that are complete face freezers. Crampert's is one. Yeti Snot is another. And any of the Sterling Glacial line can be very, very, very cooling, almost to the point of tears. Now, some people have different tolerances for menthol as well. I know of somebody here on the forum that can take as much menthol as you give them and walks away a happy camper, whereas myself and some others can take a little bit of menthol, but not enough. Plus, you also need to look at your skin type. This may sound weird, but if you're having problems with any of the soaps, do a skin test. Usually on the inner part of your forearms, a nice soft space to do that. Let the soap or the mentholated type product sit on your skin for a little while and see if it does irritation, because menthol can irritate, just like lanolin. There are many people that cannot use Mitchell's wool fat because they have a lanolin allergy or a susceptibility to that. Well, the same thing goes with menthol. And check out your skin type. If your skin is irritated, menthol is going to probably make it a little bit worse. So that's pretty much it for the topics for this week. If you have any comments, please leave them in the video library forum, because this is very important that we do talk about these different subjects. Now, coming up on some of our next shows, we're going to go over some analysis of safety razor blade purchases, also what's trending on Badger and Blade, as well as our regular interviews with our stewards, our moderators, and our vendors. And please give us some feedback on the vendor advertising that we've been doing. We're working hot and heavy to get some more out there. Currently, we have 2 available, one for Captain's Choice Products and the other one for Bull Goose Shavings. And coming up very shortly, we will have AT&T razors, and we will also have Paladin Shaving as some of them. And if you know any of the vendors here on BadgerandBlade.com that you think would benefit from our advertising program, please let them know to contact us here at B&B Radio. After the break, we'll come out and close out the rest of the show. Thanks for sticking with us. Since 2009, Bull Goose Shaving Supplies has been providing the best in shaving products to the discerning traditional shaver. Carrying shave soaps, creams, aftershaves, fragrances, razors, and accessories from many of the top manufacturers, as well as unique and artisan shave products from around the world. Bull Goose Shaving Supplies also carries its very own product of shave soaps, custom brushes, and razors under the Asylum Shaveworks brand, including the one-of-a-kind Asylum RX single-edge razor, the Asylum Evolution, an homage to the 1930s Darwin, and coming soon to Bull Goose, the Paradigm Titanium double-edge razor. Bull Goose Shaving Supplies is your one-stop shop for bath and shower, as well as all personal grooming accessories. Looking for that special gift or storage solution? We have that too. With lightning-quick order fulfillment, wonderful customer service, and an easy-to-navigate website, you can get everything you need at Bull Goose Shaving Supplies. www.bullgooseshaving.com. That's www.bullgooseshaving.com. As we close out this episode of B&B Radio, we'd certainly like to thank you for joining us for this episode. And once again, don't forget that we broadcast every 2 weeks here on www.badgerandblade.com. A couple of quick reminders. Once again, the Shaving Cream Bingo will be starting over the next couple of weeks, and there'll be an announcement in that shaving cream form by Smatter Eric for signups. But in the meantime, if you have played one of our official B&B Bingo games, join us in the clubs and brotherhoods at the 3BSC for a nice, easy game of bingo. And Badger Babe will be calling this next game. Also, the Gold Dollar Modification Contest, once again, is still underway until July 1st, so check out some of the great entries there, as well as the photo contest for the month of June. Well, that brings another episode to a close once again, and we'd like to thank, as always, the moderators and stewards for all the hard work they do, the administrators and owners for bringing us BadgerandBlade.com, and of course to you, the member. You are the lifeblood of BadgerandBlade.com, and don't forget to check out our vendor section as well as our Banjo marketplace. That's it. I've been your host, Skyside, and join us again for the next episode of Badger and Blade Radio.